Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Non-Scripted Ramblings. I'm Kendall Richardson. Thank you so much for joining me for my review and rambling thoughts on episode 2 of What If, which is called What If T'Challa Became Star-Lord. This is an episode I was very much looking forward to for multiple reasons. Of course, I love the Guardians of the Galaxy universe so much. So a chance to kind of see it in a different perspective is really cool. An alternate reality spin on it. And just like of T'Challa of all the characters to be Star-Lord instead, I think is such an interesting choice. And very, very good choice that they made. And then, of course, being the final performance of Chadwick Boseman. That was another reason I was looking forward to this, just to get to hear him as T'Challa one more time. And hopefully I don't get too emotional about it, because, it was emotional. It was so cool just to hear him again, be T'Challa. It's like he's still here with us, so that was fun. And his performance in this is fantastic, very similar to Hayley Atwell from last week, just delivering it on every level. He was just, super good, and it was so cool to hear that apparently he was so excited and stoked to be a part of What If, and looking forward to bringing T'Challa to life in this format, in this fashion. Is awesome, and it shows in his performance that he was really into it. So, I loved everything about this episode. This was miles ahead of episode 1. If you watch my video on episode 1, you'll know that I did enjoy it, but I just didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. Didn't like it as much as I thought I would, which was really disappointing. But it still did have its moments, whereas this episode, I was just like, you couldn't wipe the smile off my face the entire time. I was so enthralled with the entire concept, and every scene was just either hilarious or moving or just entertaining all around. I don't have any bad things really to say about this episode. In fact, I think the only bad thing I will say, or two things. One's a nitpick, one's something that should have been rectified. And the first thing I will mention is just, I don't know why Nebula has a blonde wig. And that's fine. Blondes have more fun. So I'm not going to hold it against her or Marvel for making that choice. I don't know if that's a comic book reference. I don't think so, but let me know if it is. Or it's just, this is Nebula in this universe. She likes to rock a blonde wig, and that's cool. Good for her, I guess. She looked really cool. It was just interesting that they chose to put a wig on her. And my other problem that I have, which is a bigger problem, is the fact that Dave Bautista is not voicing Drax in this. And yes, Drax is only in one scene, but it's a good scene because it lets us know that, obviously because Thanos didn't live up to his name as the Mad Titan in this universe and try and wipe out half of everyone. Drax and his family are intact, so his wife and his daughter are still alive, and now he's working as a bartender for some reason. And it's fine, it's nice, it's good. I'm happy for him. The only problem is that Dave Bautista is not voicing Drax in this scene. They got fucking Kurt Russell to do one line of dialogue at the end of this episode, and that's Kurt Russell. Apparently, I've heard two conflicting stories that kind of match. The first being Dave Bautista has said that he was never asked to be Drax in What If, which is disappointing if that's true. The reasons for that could be something along the lines of he kind of had this anti-Marvel stance around the time James Gunn got the flick from Disney, or maybe it was an anti-Disney stance. I don't know. And he has been talking about Drax being retired as a character. Volume 3 is going to be the last time we'll see him as Drax. But yeah, so there's just been kind of some murky waters going around with Bautista's relationship with Marvel and Disney over the last couple of years, which is disappointing. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. I could be just making shit up. So I apologize. I apologize if I am. But the other thing I heard was that apparently there was a miscommunication between Marvel and Drax. Well, he is Drax. Marvel and Dave Bautista's agents. Apparently they missed the email or missed the communication from Marvel Studios that had actually asked Dave Bautista to reprise his role as Drax. But they never passed it on to Dave for some reason. Don't know what's happened. So it's all a big mess. Granted, again, he is only in it for one scene, but like I said, I think it's a pretty important scene, just to show us that everything is okay with Drax and his family. And, you know, we love Drax. He's awesome. So why not get Dave Bautista to voice him? I think it's a bit of a crime. And I will mention, too, the only other actor in this isn't voiced by their MCU live-action counterpart is, I think it was Corvus Glaive. The actor who plays Corvus Glaive, whose name I was going to look up and forgot to, so I apologise. Again, just gonna keep apologising. Yeah, he's not in this. So yeah, but I think everybody else is played by their live action counterparts, which is wonderful. Yeah, I gotta say, T'Challa as Star-Lord, just in general, is just brilliant, wonderful, excellent. I was getting a little concerned by the end of the episode that maybe he was becoming too OP, like too Mary Sue, too perfect, because he's just that good. I mean, yes, T'Challa is that good, Black Panther is that good. You know, he's definitely someone who could be worthy of lifting Mjolnir, let's be honest. But they seem to keep really driving home this message of he's the superior Star-Lord, he's the superior, you know, person over Peter Quill, and look what would have happened. Things would have worked out so much better for everyone, except for what happens at the end of the episode, but we'll get to that later. So I don't know, so it kind of treaded that line for me of him being a little too good, or too perfect maybe, but I mean, it's, again, nitpick, tiny nitpick, doesn't really matter too much, because the comedy that we got as a result of T'Challa actually being Star-Lord and being this super altruistic Robin Hood type guy is just awesome. Starting with the opening scene, I loved it. The parallels between Guardians 1 and this were excellent. You know, we have that same opening scene on Morag where Star-Lord is going after the Power Stone, and here, you know, when he's confronted by Korath and his henchmen, when he reveals that he's T'Challa, not Peter Quill, Korath immediately just starts fanboying, and I thought that was fantastic. I couldn't stop laughing for like 5 minutes. He's like, "This is Star-Lord, legendary outlaw." Like, even using the same dialogue that Peter Quill used. And he's like, should we bow? Should I bow or should we kneel? Or like, what should we, you know, he's just a blubbering mess, and it's so good. I loved that. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, I was all for that kind of, you know, fanboy Korath. It's brilliant. And really helps to set up the tone of the episode and just how awesome T'Challa is. And it kind of gives credence to the next big thing that gets revealed in this episode, which was my favourite thing about the whole... But when I think about it, it makes me mad a little bit. But it's basically when, you know, after Korath has actually joined the Ravagers, because T'Challa decides to spare him and brings him aboard their ship. And then they're all out celebrating or whatever, and they've got the Power Stone, and it's all good, and they're drinking, and then Thanos appears in a Ravager suit. And look, I knew he was going to be in this episode. I knew the Black Order were going to be in this episode because I recognized the names of the actors in the opening credits. which is one of the downsides of having the knowledge that I do at my disposal. Just knowing shit like that off the top of my head works against me in these situations, because that would have been a really cool twist, like a reveal, like, oh my god, it's Thanos, oh my god, it's the Black Order. But it was still good, because it still subverted my expectations, because I'm like, okay, Josh Brolin's going to be in this, Carrie Coon's going to be in this, we're going to be getting some maybe Infinity War-esque references here. And I was like, okay, right, cool, that's going to be interesting. And then it was completely the opposite of that, with having Thanos as a good guy. He's one of the Ravagers. And we find out it's because T'Challa talked him out of committing the decimation, getting all the Infinity Stones, because he explained to him, he reasoned with him that there's like another way. Of course, there's another way, Thanos. Genocide is not the answer. There's another way to reallocate the universe's resources, redistribute resources and all of that, which is why, you know, one of the things they want to do with the Power Stone is there's this, the Krylorian planet apparently is in peril, and they're going to use the Power Stone to actually help save it. Krylorians are the pink skinned race of people. Karina, who is the collector's slave, I guess, for lack of a better word, she kind of is. She's one of them. She's a Krylorian. So there's that. And then, of course, when we find out that they're after the Embers of Genesis, which could actually kind of save everyone, it's like, well, where the fuck were the Embers of Genesis in the main MCU timeline? Because anyway, but it's just so funny, like, Thanos admits that he's a reasonable man at the end of the day, basically, and how T'Challa explained it, and I'm just like, I'm just sitting there laughing my ass off, my jaw's on the floor, I'm like, what? I still can't believe it. I think it's fucking hilarious. And then it's funny too, because even by the end of the episode, Thanos is he's still got inklings of that genocidal maniac inside him, because he keeps saying things like there are merits to that method. It is very efficient. It just makes me laugh so much. Korath calls him Captain Genocide, which is now what I will forever call Thanos. Captain Genocide, and it's the perfect nickname. I love that so much. So that was my favorite part of the whole episode, really. I just was losing my effing mind over it. It was so good. So I think this is when we meet Nebula, which is cool. Karen Gillan for the win. And they basically plan a heist to go get the Embers of Genesis from the Collector, who has filled the void of power in the galaxy that Thanos left. So because Thanos decided to go straight and narrow, there was no big bad kind of running things. So the Collector decided, I'm going to use this opportunity, and that's why he has the Black Order working for him, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, it's a heist episode, really, which is cool. I really liked it. I thought it was awesome. Again, everything about this episode was just fantastic. When they get to Nowhere, I really loved, and I have to mention this just because I want it as a painting on my wall or something, because just the matte painting they had of the Celestial's head that is Nowhere looked beautiful. I mean, it looks beautiful in the live action film, but here it's just stunning to me. Like, it looked really nice, and I was like, I want a dead Celestial's head on my wall. Yeah, it sounds interesting when you say it out loud like that. But no, it just looked beautiful. It really looked beautiful. I mean, the animation in this episode, again, same as last week, was, I think, similar to last week, but I think maybe better this week. I don't know. I feel like the style of animation maybe fit the sci-fi-ness of it all a bit more than the 1940s, but that's okay. That's fine. It's fine. It's good. But yeah, no, I loved getting to Nowhere and it's such a good opportunity every time they've gone to nowhere in the MCU. So in Guardians 1, in Infinity War, and now here in What If, it's just a treasure trove of Easter eggs every time. And I'm here for that. I freaking love that. We got to see Cosmo, the dog, again, which was cool. So hopefully he comes back at some point, has a bigger role. That'd be nice. There were, what else did we see? Dark elves. We saw Skrulls. You know, like, so lots of different things locked up, people locked up in cages, different aliens. There was a scene where I think T'Challa's, I think he's walking around he's trying to, you know, find his way around. And I should mention Howard the Duck before I get into that. Howard the bloody Duck comes back. Seth Green reprising his role from Guardians 1. Brilliant. I lost my shit again over the reappearance of Howard the Duck in the MCU. I thought that was brilliant. And the fact that, you know, T'Challa being T'Challa is just like, all right, no, I see your value. You know where shit is. You could tell me, you could give me the guided tour of the Collector's, you know, home base, and show me where the embers of Genesis are located. But yeah, basically Howard just goes straight for the bar. Why not? It was very funny. I liked it a lot. But yeah, I think after that, that's when, we go into this like ship warehouse, and we see there's like a ship that belongs to the Nova Corps. The Commodore from Thor Ragnarok is there, or at least a ship that looks almost identically similar. I'll basically just say it's the Commodore from Ragnarok. The space like pod thing from Infinity War that Thor and Rocket and Groot use to go forge when they're going to forge Stormbreaker, that thing's in there as well. I think that's the Milano's or the Benatar's escape pod thing. I think that's what that is. But yeah, that's there as well. And then that's when we find out that there's a Wakandan spaceship. They've actually developed spaceships in this universe, because King T'Chaka was so devastated, of course, because of T'Challa deciding to leave, that he didn't know what happened to him, so he devised any and every means necessary to try and find him, which included developing space, interstellar space travel, because why not? It's Wakanda, they can do everything. And that was a really nice moment because of T'Challa walking onto this Wakandan ship, and who knows what happened to the Dora Milaje that were on there. Their costumes are on these mannequins sitting in the seats, and that was very eerie to me. I don't know about you guys, but that felt very eerie. Hopefully they're safe and fine. But that was cool because we also had the Black Panther music sort of play during this scene, and I thought that was wonderful. But yeah, it was also kind of the emotional height of the episode because it's when T'Challa realizes that Yondu lied to him. Because basically what happened is that back in 1988, the same year that they came to Earth looking for Peter Quill, the Nexus event that changed everything was Yondu letting Kraglin and Taserface decide where Ego's spawn is located, and because they zeroed in on Wakanda because of apparently they were tracking extraterrestrial energy, an extraterrestrial signature of some description, and because of all the vibranium from the asteroid that landed there thousands and thousands of years ago, they were led to Wakanda, and that's how they ended up finding T'Challa instead of Peter Quill, and they just took him, and Yondu was like, Yondu recognized a kind of a kinship with him and T'Challa straight away, which is funny because of, in the main MCU timeline, he immediately wants to eat Peter Quill. He's like, we're going to eat you. Or the Ravagers wanted to eat Peter Quill, and Yondu prevented it. But anyway, so I thought that was interesting. And because T'Challa's he's at this young age, he's naive, he's not making the best decisions. Because he's just of the mind that he wants to explore an event. He wanted to leave Wakanda at that point, and get out and see the rest of the world, but his father wouldn't let him, so he ends up staying on the Ravager ship and going into space. Apparently, though, Yondu, years later, attempted to find out what happened to Wakanda, and to see if it was safe for T'Challa to return, and then he made up a lie that Wakanda was actually destroyed, told T'Challa this so he would stay, because he wanted to keep T'Challa around. So it's very, very kind of heartbreaking stuff. But it was nice, that kind of emotional weight that it gave the episode. I thought that was really, really good. So yeah, when T'Challa sees the ship, he realizes that, Yondu lied to me. Wakanda's fine. I can go home whenever I want, basically. So that's really cool. I was going somewhere with this, and now I've forgotten. Oh yeah, I was talking about Easter eggs, because then the next lot of Easter eggs come when during the final fight between T'Challa and the Collector, and the Collector now is this big beefy beefcake. He looks like a Super Saiyan. And he has this huge arsenal at his disposal, things he's collected, of course, over the years. And when he shows off his weapons case, you can see Cap's shield is there, Mjolnir is there somehow. Who knows how that ended up there, because, you have to be worthy to lift it, so I'd really like to hear that backstory. He uses a dagger that belonged to Malekith, the Dark Elf. And then he also has Hela's crown from Ragnarok, so that, when she does this thing and it all appears like that, he has that, and the Necro Sword as well. So, interesting stuff. And then the other thing, the one that saddened me the most, is the fact that it is highly alluded to that Korg is dead, because he's got a Cronin's arm on him. That was a bad visual, I apologise. He's got the arm of a Cronin on him, and I can't believe I just did that without realising. Okay, anyway, but he says in dialogue that it's a chatty Cronin, that it belonged to. So and that's kind of hinting, really, that it was Korg. So that's not cool. But it's really great, this whole episode. I don't know what else I can really say too much about it. I love the Easter eggs again. Like I said, every time we go to nowhere, it's an opportunity to just put Easter eggs everywhere. It was like walking through the void in episode 5 of Loki. Just what can you spot in the background? It's really cool. I love when Marvel does that. It's just awesome. It's a lot of fun. I don't know what else to really say. I mean, I just loved the hell out of this entire thing, to be honest. I just gotta keep reiterating that. And then the ending, of course, where we are actually at the Dairy Queen, the same one from Guardians Volume 2 when Ego comes to Earth, and plants his little planty. And Ego's come for Peter Quill to help him, basically, do his thing and destroy everything. So it's kind of very hinted at now, that the fact that now that, because Peter Quill is just a regular, he's a regular human, he's still half celestial, but he hasn't been down the road with the Guardians yet, so we don't really know what kind of a person he is and what would convince him. Although I still would want to think that he would refuse Ego, because unless he ends up finding out, he may not even find out that his mum's dead, or his mum may not even be dead. I don't know. I'm going to assume she is, because Ego killed him in the MCU, so killed her in the MCU. So I'm assuming the same thing happened, but so basically, I don't think Peter Quill, if he finds out that Ego killed his mum, he's not going to do anything. Like, he's not going to join Ego and help him. They're going to have that big fight again. But if Ego manages to keep that bit of information to himself, then yeah, Peter will be rapt to see his dad, because he's probably still going to be that same Peter Quill who grew up without a father, grew up idolizing David Hasselhoff, pretending he was his dad. You know, so that's still a possibility. I think that's still probably going to be the same. So yeah, so basically we're screwed. Depending on some factors, we'll see. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that actually continues, because I'm wondering what the structure of this series is. If it's going to be, if everything's just a standalone episode, or if certain episodes will then connect to later episodes, and there'll be a shared connected universe sort of between every multiverse that we see, or whether or not they're all on the same, just in the one branch, and all this stuff just happened, but probably not. But yeah, I hope they connect them down the road. That'd be really cool, especially because I'd love to see more of T'Challa as Star-Lord. So hopefully, if they've already done that, then yeah, hopefully Chadwick's was involved with that before he passed away. That would be great. But yeah, it would be hard to replace him if they decide to bring T'Challa back later on. But who knows? Who knows? I'm sure they've got plans in place. They always do. Marvel are very switched on like that. So, but yeah. Oh, and I really like the fact that the song that's playing, that Peter's listening to, you know, a mixtape, of course, and he's listening to the song Space Age Love Story by Flock of Seagulls, which I thought was cool because, you know, Space Age Love Story, Ego and his mum, blah, 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 now he's here for him, and yeah, so that kind of was nice. And then, yeah, apparently that song was also playing during the homecoming dance or prom. I can't remember what event it was in Homecoming, but basically, you know, right after that epic car scene where Peter finds out that, you know, his date's father is the Vulture, he walks into the dance and they're playing, this song is playing, Space Age Love Story, so I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if that's intentional or not in any way, but yeah, I thought I'd mention it because I thought it was interesting. It could be intentional. A lot of what they do is intentional. But yeah, again, loved it. I also loved that Karina got her chance to have her comeuppance on the Collector without sacrificing herself this time. Because at the end, yeah, T'Challa and Yondu give her the armband that the Collector has, and that lets her unlock every cell in the warehouse there, and all, you know, all the people that he's collected over the years basically attack the Collector and kill him, and Karina makes that happen, and she seems very happy about it. Yeah, so I really liked that as well. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it from me. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed my ramble about episode 2 of What If. What if T'Challa became Star-Lord? Fantastic episode. I love it. If every episode of What If is as good as this, then we're going to have a great time. Keep the quality coming. I'm excited. I cannot wait. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Comment below if I left anything out, or if you agree or disagree, or anything. Just say hi. Say hi. Like, share, and subscribe too, to keep track and stay tuned for more videos from me and from the rest of us here at FREDtheALIEN. So yeah, that is it. Take care of yourselves. Until next time, I've been Kendall Richardson, and you've just experienced non-scripted ramblings.